Hello everyone, and in today's video we'll be looking at a scenario where Brazil forms an empire. Now, Brazil is in AddizPros WICSO of course, and is the third strongest country in the world. They are fascist and are currently in a war with America, but for this video the AN and all those world alliances won't exist and the war with America won't exist. So let's look at this video. Now, you might be asking, what about this land here? Brazil is in a war with America and currently occupies it. Well, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna give it back to America. So, yeah. Now, Brazil can... Let me just turn off capitals because it'd make the video much better. Well, I don't know, but it'd make it easier for me. So, Brazil will start its invasion. And the first country they actually go to war with is this dark green one. Now, the dark green country, the dark green country was used to be a part of Peru over here. Peru lost World War IV, so they had to split it out. And now the dark green country is fascist, but Brazil don't care. They're invading, and they're invading very well. They're able to take half of the country before the country just falls and surrenders. In the peace treaty is fully annexed into Brazil. And Brazil will now go after Peru for everything they've done to them in history. In World War IV. So Brazilian forces move in, and these Brazilian forces are very good. They split the country in two before taking this entire northern land here. And Peru will fight to the last man, but ultimately in the end they're no use for the third strongest country in the world. And Peru falls pretty easily. So that just shows the strength of Brazil. So yeah. Brazil, now, they're kinda stuck. They're like, where do we go? There's the yellow team. They'd give a good fight. The brown team would give a good fight. Central America, all the way over here. So that just leaves the red team. Well, the red team lost World War IV. They lost against Brazil. And Brazil will be going back to war with them. So, Brazilian forces move in, and the red team wasn't expecting this. This was a surprise invasion, and Brazilian forces will snake down the coast because that's where a lot of their stuff is. Eventually, all of the coast will be taken, and with this, the red team just accepts its fate and surrenders, and in the peace treaty, once again, fully annexed. Now, Brazil, they're like, where do we go? America blocks us off from Central Central America. And the remaining countries are pretty strong, but at this point Brazil has to pick their poison. And they're actually going to pick the yellow team. That's for a very special reason. As soon as Brazilian forces move into the yellow team, we actually see the red team declaring war on the yellow team. And the red team declares war on the yellow team because they lost land to the yellow team in World War IV. And they want that land back. So they send forces in, capture the old lands, and the yellow team wasn't expecting Brazil to declare war on them, and they were not expecting the red team to. So the yellow team is struggling, and the yellow team isn't a push-around country. They're fairly strong, so they will push back the red team, but in the north, they're nothing compared to Brazil. And Brazil will start snaking down the coast, and they actually capture a lot of the coast of the yellow team and some inland areas. And they make an invasion from this area here and start to spearhead out to the coast of the yellow team. And the yellow team is in disbelief. They're like, how is Brazil doing this? And eventually, the yellow team will be split in two as this whole northern area is cut off. And the red team is able to just breeze through the rest of the yellow team pretty easily because the yellow team forces have just given up on fighting, and this whole area here will fall to the red team, and eventually the southern part surrenders. And seeing that the southern part surrendered, and the northern part will also surrender, and the yellow team has been split up. And we can look at this peace treaty. In the treaty, the yellow team is almost divided up, and it barely exists, but they exist. And Brazil and the red team both take a lot of land, and they will form an alliance. So, yeah, the rest of South America should be worried. Anyways, Brazil, almost starting a war with America, will send boats out into the sea. And you might be asking, why is Brazil sending boats into here? That's for a very special reason. War with Central America. Brazilian troops land in Central America. Central America wasn't expecting this, and this whole southern area falls. But as it looks like Brazil's gonna just take over the rest of Central America, we have Mexico joining the war to try to stop Brazil because they don't like Brazil. And the capital falls to Mexican forces, but the Brazil takes all this on. I mean, look at this peace treaty, which was actually a very fast war. So in the treaty, Central America no longer exists. They're carved up between Mexico and Brazil, and quickly Brazil, which is very surprising, will buy this land from America. America accepts because Brazil offers a lot of money, and they can now, they can now connect up their pieces over here. But Brazil isn't done. What does the question? Where do we expand? The yellow and brown and the purple team have actually made an alliance against Brazil and the red team. So Brazil, they need to pick their poison at this point. I've already said that they need to fight, and they will declare war on this alliance over here, and the ally and the red team will actually join the war. But these guys are going to get American aid as they don't like Brazil. So we can look at this war. So immediately, forces from Brazil will capture this entire, I almost said exclave, this, whatever it's called, panhandle, I don't know, and will move in from the coast. But the brown team has been preparing for this, and their forces actually do a lot of damage, and these Brazilian forces get cut off from the rest of the main army and eventually squeezed out of brown team territory. And the brown team's able to invade up north, and Brazil wasn't expecting this at all. Luckily though, on the yellow team front, and that's the wrong colour, on the yellow team front, yeah, it's not going so well. The yellow team was prepared, but they've been destroyed from the last war with Brazil, and yeah, the coast will fall, and red team forces will move in to yellow team territory, but America is supplying these guys, so the yellow team is able to do guerrilla warfare, and the guerrilla warfare is actually able to hold off the Brazilian forces for now. And yeah, over in the brown team though, they don't know how to do guerrilla warfare. Eventually Brazil restarts the invasion of the brown team, and the red team will also start the invasion of the brown team, which goes very well, and the brown team is facing a two-front war. The brown team isn't, well, actually a three-front war, and the brown team isn't ready for that. So these two forces actually meet up with each other, because if I can get the right colour, which goes very well, and Brazil is able to snake down the coast, and eventually Buenos Aires is captured. I don't know if it's the capital, but I'm gonna say it is. So the capital falls, and yeah, the brown team, that all of their coast is taken, and even the purple team gets invaded, but the purple team will just agree to peace as they never really wanted to be in this alliance, they were kind of forced into it. So yeah, so the purple team agrees to peace, and it leaves the brown and yellow teams to die. And the brown team is fully invaded from all their borders, all their fronts, whatever. And eventually, all this land is taken, and the brown team surrenders. And yeah, the guerrilla warfare kind of just dies down, and it leads to the yellow team surrendering. And this is pretty big. And the Brazilians have won this big war now. Even though these countries fell fast, they still put up one good fight. They had American aid, so it was actually very brutal for the Brazilians, but in the end, Brazil just won. And we can look at this peace treaty.